welcome back to the channel, and in this video we're doing a recap and review of Married at First Sight, Unfiltered, Not My Type. So if you're new here, hit the subscribe button, turn on your notifications so you can be notified when we post. If you like the video, hit that like button and also drop a comment down in the comment section below, because I do like to engage with my viewers and subscribers. So, of course, we start off with Jamie introducing the three people that's on the show this week, which was Clara, Vincent, and Paige. Paige is there once again. And she asked her, she said, we have you back again. And Paige, of course, said, well, there's a lot to talk about and a lot going on. So the first thing they started on was the initial connection between Ryan and Clara. And they showed the scene where they were talking about the blindfolds and how Ryan was saying that it was really something for him, especially due to the anticipation of going down in the elevator and walking out, seeing some of friends and family. I mean, yeah, he was pretty nervous when it came to that. But when Jamie asked Clara about the blindfolds, she said that she really wasn't a fan of being blindfolded at the wedding ceremony because she was mainly afraid of tripping and falling. And, you know, that was her biggest concern. But the sentiment behind it was really sweet, she said. And she felt that she's comfortable with Ryan. And you know, from the first night, Clara says she's feeling not only comfortable, but on the same page. And, you know, it's easy to assume the other person will have expectations when you don't know that other person. You know, it just seemed that we really seemed to be on the same page. And she didn't feel worried about that. And she, you know, didn't want to put pressure on each other. So they felt definitely, you know, very comfortable. And then she brought the question up to Vincent, and he said that, you know, everything, they're just learning more and more about each other. And it seems like the longest, weirdest first date ever. They switched back over to Clara in this conversation. And, you know, Jamie asked to describe the chemistry that she has with Ryan. And she said that, you know, she described that it was pretty good at this point. She told herself that if he was green and 300 pounds, you know, I'll make it work anyway. And she said that to herself so many times. It was a belief that, you know, if I find him attractive, we have so much in common off the bat, we can just, you know, end up making this work. And, you know, the chemistry is at this point absolutely fine. And yeah, she felt absolutely great about this situation. So then we have Jamie now bringing and shifting the attention over to Vincent. And of course, we saw in the clips that they showed of Vincent and Brianna waking up together. Look like they're feeling really good. They're having some conversation. And we saw them talking about the fact that, you know, that it was a really good first night. And they said that they talked a lot about different things. Brianna also mentioned that, of course, there was no hanky-panky, you know, that night. And she said there was definitely a lot of snoring. And so she was like, yep, I'm going to bed. I'm going to sleep. So, of course, we know nothing didn't happen that episode. But we'll, you know, we, of course, seen what happened after that. So, you know, the chemistry is definitely going well between those two. However, Jamie did ask Vincent, you know, how did he feel about their chemistry and them waking up next to each other together. And he said it was great to have someone to wake up next to. It's a great feeling. I'm not waking up to just myself, being single anymore. He likes his wife. He feels good about the things that they talk about. And they're bonding over things. And he said that I think we're trying to get as much information as possible to build a connection and get to know each other. We're from similar backgrounds, and we had great conversation. So then she switched it over to Paige and asked her how her first night was. And Paige said that there was not a lot of talking. Jamie asked if there was anything she learned about him that first night. And she said that he did give her some insight on his background. Essentially, he was homeless for a couple months. And he's doing very, very well for himself. So it's a very inspiring story. And we just kind of got to, get to learn each other and our backgrounds and our upbringings. And, that's what they talked about. So, they didn't have a lot of talking. And, of course, we know there were other things going on between them that night. But, they did have some conversation about their background. So it switches back over to Clara and Ryan. And that whole scene about Clara said it was funny because she woke up the next morning and she was like, oh, man, this is all good, all fine and well. And we're having a conversation. And she said, at least I didn't sleepwalk last night. And he was like, oh, that explains a lot, because it seems like I had yelled at him in my sleep because he was so terrified. And I didn't know what I did. Did I mess up? It was funny. But, it turned out that, they were fine. And so now we move on to the next section where we have Jamie bringing up the fact of Chris having a panic attack the night before the honeymoon. And so, of course, they show the clips, which, of course, we've all seen in that particular episode. And, the thing is, it comes up about the conversation of him not being attracted to her. And the problem with this whole situation is about the fact that he mentioned to that after he had sex with her, and multiple times at that. So, and she said that she's never been with somebody who had sex with her that didn't find her attractive. So, of course, it switches back to the conversation with Unfiltered. And so, Jamie asked, how did she feel about that scene? And she said that it did disturb her because she would never give herself to someone that, didn't desire her. But it's a process. I'm not feeling good about the situation at all. And Jamie said, well, Chris said on that night he wasn't attracted to you. If he had said that before, would you have acted differently? And she said, yeah, it would have been a different situation for the both of us. Maybe we could have started off as friends and be able to build into something more. But he did say something really profound. He was like, you my wife. I want to be able to respect you. I want to get to know you. And she was like, okay. So she felt that she could let her guard down, and, she felt like he was being intentional. And then Clara chimed in on that and said, it's really frustrating to watch. I'm very open and honest, but I don't think it was appropriate to be that open and honest when you're saying something that could hurt someone else. And by saying that, it served no purpose and it didn't bode well for him. So, I find that pretty interesting, from what she said, because she's very open. Would she have said that if she wasn't attracted to Ryan? We'll never know, but we'll see. We'll definitely, of course, see how everybody progressed in this journey. Vincent said, his perspective, he would have handled it differently. If, you're not attracted to whoever you match with, you want to see if there's more that you can mesh with them on. And maybe there's something else that you can really appreciate about that person. And then Paige was asked, does this affect their marriage going forward? And she said, I knew this was a risk coming in, but I definitely didn't think it would be at the expense of possibly my emotional and mental health at this point. And it's taken a lot out of me, and, it's totally understandable. So then Jamie talks about the conversation with the parents of each of them. And the first conversation was with Paige and Chris. And we remember how Paige and Chris's parents. And we remember how that went because she discussed what happened the previous night, how they match on paper. But, the fact that she gave herself to someone like that who didn't find her attractive, she wanted to get some insight from them And of course, the conversation, it definitely didn't look like his father was okay with that. And the mom tried to give an excuse saying maybe he was drunk. However, Jamie did ask her about that, and she said, definitely it seemed like his father was not happy about that situation, but it was definitely confusing that the mom said, did he have a drink? And of course, you know, is she trying to protect her son the way she know how? She said that it kind of backfired because of the situation where it ended up starting more drama. So in retrospect, maybe, she should have just discussed it between her and Crystal a few more times. And then, Clara said that, it's not something fun you want to bring up when you just meet these people. And they asked her also more and more about that in regards to Paige. And, she said that at the time it felt like it was the right thing to do to bring up the conversation with his parents, but it seemed like it actually, she should have probably had more conversations with Chris on this. So, she definitely is trying to see this thing through, but as the journey continues, we'll be watching. So we're back to where Jamie is now talking to Vincent about the episodes with Brianna speaking to his cousin. And we all saw how that went because, Brianna wanted to know how his responses are. Does he get really mad? And of course, we did see the conversation with the cousin as like, oh yeah, you have to calm him down. He definitely really get mad. So it was definitely concerning. You can tell by the look on her face, when the cousin was telling her that. So then the question came up from Jamie, how does it feel watching that back with your cousin saying that and how protective she is of you? And Vincent, he was like, yeah, I have the right to get mad when I see things that, I'm not happy with. But at the same time, I'm not like this angry person, that she really described, that she has to really calm me down. And, he wished that they had brought up, the fact that he's a patient person and brought up other qualities, good qualities that he had. And see, here's the thing. They do many hours of filming with the cast and their family. Who knows? She might have said it. They just didn't show it. We don't know. And then with Clara, she was saying that, when it came to Ryan's family, and of course them asking her, she's very much an open book. You can ask her pretty much anything. I'll tell you. So, if anything that he don't know, we've only already just had 12 hours at that point. So they needed to be patient if there was anything else that, didn't come out with questions that was asked between the family members. So Jamie also asked, Vincent, watching this again with Brianna and everything with the family. And he said that, I think with the wedding and everything and the families, it was proof everything went well. They meshed together. It was really incredible. And then Jamie asked about communication now, with especially when it came to Chris and Paige after everything has happened. And they showed the clip where Chris admitted he came across as an asshole and that, he owed her an apology and his attitude was horrible. And he said there's other fun, loyal, faithful, dope, cool side of me that, I haven't given you the option to see. And of course, we remember her saying that she wanted him to see the good things about her as well. And so, of course, Jamie asked about that. And, Paige said, the past 48 hours has been a whirlwind of emotions, to set the stage, with everything that's going on and everything. We had to regroup. We had to separate and take some time away from each other. But she said that she's still committed to this, and hopefully they can both actually find a way to move forward. She's impressed about the fact that he admitted those things and that he acted like a jerk in this situation. Clara said, if it was her, I could forgive you, but I probably wouldn't forget. But we signed up for the good, bad, and the ugly, and it's only been 48 hours. So forgiving him is what she felt that she needed to do to move on from this. Then so be it. Paige was asked how she felt about that conversation. She says she's still hopeful, still committed, looking forward to what's in store for the next couple weeks. And Jamie asked, do you think that your marriage still have a fighting chance? And, Paige says that, we're going to continue riding this wave, and we shall see, we shall see. So she's definitely staying committed to the process. And, of course, what we've seen from the episode from Wednesday, they are going to try to move forward from this, but we have to see how it goes. I'm just going to continue to watch. However, they switched the subject over to Haley and Jake and showed the different scenes about all of Jake's clothes, the dragon shirt and the tie-dye shirts and the fanny packs. And, of course, she was asking, he asked her, hey, do you like the way that I dress and, the type of clothes? And it was a funny scene. So Jamie asked them, what do you think about, Haley and Jake? And, Vincent was like, Jake is hilarious. I mean, so far, like, they're doing well. She's laughing at his jokes and she's laughing with him. And then, of course, Clara says she thinks the world of Jake. I think he's awesome, but they're on different planets, literally different planets. And so, they're definitely, according to Clara, like polar opposites. And then, of course, Vincent says, we'll have to see. And then Jamie asked Paige what her thoughts was on Haley and Jacob. And she said that they're definitely in two different worlds, but who knows? Sometimes it collides and sometimes it could be a match made in heaven. So we'll have to just see how it goes. One thing I will say about Paige is that she is very optimistic. She looks for the progression in things to see how it's going to work out. So I just wanted to mention that. But it's going to be interesting to see at this point. And again, Paige also mentioned before the end of this show that, they've had a lot of bumps in the road. She's hoping that they can turn it all around, and they're looking forward to this reset, to level out a bit, to get to know each other on a deeper level. We haven't had the chance to do that because of everything that's been happening. So hopefully we can disconnect from everybody and pull into this marriage. So we'll definitely see going forward what happens with everyone. So let's do our post notification shout outs. And I'm glad you guys like the Unfiltered recap. So the first one goes to Loretta. Loretta, you can find them a half hour before each of the regular new episodes. So if you at 7 o'clock, 6:30 is what you would find it at. Molly Picture, thank you as well for engaging in the channel. I really appreciate it. Yvette Monroe, thank you as well for engaging in the channel. I really appreciate it. And then last but not least, and I'm glad you also enjoyed the recap of Unfiltered of last week, Shirley's Spice for Life. Thank you as well. So until the next video, like, comment, and subscribe. We will see you soon.